Hey everybody, I am so glad that you're on our teaching team this week. And I have been learning some things through this book, The Discipline Guide for Children's Ministry, and I wanted to share with you what I've been learning and empower you to walk out some strategies in your classrooms. Now, discipline can have a negative connotation to both adults and children, but not when we understand that the word actually means training. And we know from the writer in Hebrews that those who allow themselves to be trained by discipline will reap a harvest of righteous living and peace. And that is absolutely what we want for our classrooms. Now, I never want you to end up in a power struggle with a child because I have been there and no one wins in a power struggle. Not you, not the child. It is a no-win situation. So let's see here. I'm going to share with you something I read this week. Emotionally, children are healthiest when they have clear boundaries and evidence of unconditional love when they cross those boundaries. Children also need to experience breaking limits and then receiving the forgiveness of a loving adult. And you get to be that loving adult on a Sunday morning. Children need boundaries. They actually feel safe when they have boundaries. And when they're running around in chaos, even though it seems like they're in control in a way, they're not. They actually are testing and trying to figure out who is in control of this room. Is there a loving adult here who's going to let me know what the expectations are for me and set boundaries and help me stay within them? So what do you do on Sunday morning this week when someone or multiple people get a little out of control? Well, you empower the child with a choice. You give them the option. You've already gone through the rules of stick together and have fun and no hurts. So you give them a choice. Hey, so-and-so, you know that our rule is to stick together. And right now we're going to listen to the big God story. And I so want you to hear it because we're going to learn more about the love of God. But if you choose not to stick together, you can choose to go sit with your parents. So which one would you like? Now, I've done this on a Sunday morning at Hope in the City, and 90% of the time, I'm making that up, children will choose to stick together with the group, and then they get to have this wonderful time with their friends and with you and get to engage and connect with God. If they choose that they want a parent to come, or they continue to choose to not follow instructions, so they're making that decision based out of not making a decision, then you write down that little number on their name tag and you hand it to your host of the day, and they take it to the sound booth. And that parent can come in because that parent is the primary discipler and they're the one that can carry out discipline. Their authority has so much more weight than ours does because of their responsibility as a parent. And we just ask that parent to reinforce what the rules are or to let their child come sit with them that Sunday. And I imagine that child will decide the next week that they really want to come back to Sunday school and go ahead and follow the rules and stick with the group. The most important thing is that you follow through. When you give that choice, you follow through. You allow them to stick together with the group and you don't hold it against them once they've come back and made that decision. Now, if they choose not to come back together with the group, then you follow through by getting their parent because that's what you said you would do. And that's going to make those kids feel so much more safe on a Sunday morning with you. I hope that this really helps. I hope that we can experience as a whole a harvest of righteousness and right living in our classrooms.